Why don't we go ahead and get started? I know John will join and we can add him into the roll call, but we can proceed.
I can call him last.
There's John.
Yes, okay. So welcome everyone. I'd like to call to order the April 1st, 2021 meeting of the City of Saugatuck Historic District Commission. Item number 1 on the agenda is call to order and roll call. Cindy, could help a verbal roll call.
All right, Cindy's just unconnected. Now
I can do
now
that.
she's muted.
Keith Patterson.
I'm back.
Panozzo.
Present.
Canarsa.
Present.
Davenport.
Here.
Straker here. Lewis and Leo not here.
Leo not here. And what about Peterson?
Patterson is here.
I'm here.
What about Chris? No, she's not on this one. Lewis, you're correct. It's Lewis.
Yep. So Lewis and Leo are absent. Okay, we have a quorum. Are there any agenda changes or additions or deletions? I think you're on mute, Cindy. If not, no, okay. Approval of the minutes from the regular meeting, March 4th, 2021.
Patterson moves to approve.
Thank you, Patterson. Do I have a second?
Davenport.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying yes. We'll do a roll call. Patterson,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Canarsa,
Yes.
Nozo,
Yes.
and Straker is a yes. Motion carries. Minutes approved. Are there any public comments today? Okay, then we'll move right into unfinished business. The first is 118 Hoffman Street, the removal of walls from the former garage addition. Looks like we have the applicant. Sarah, is that you?
That is not me.
Well, that's not you. Okay. All right, I had the wrong applicant. Do we have?
I don't see the applicant. I did email him the packet, but I
Okay.
can explain what I understand he wants to do.
Okay, go ahead, Cindy. Thank you.
And the memo, the first page of page 4 in your packet, this is the building that is on Hoffman Street that used to have home products and a realtor sign on front. It was for sale. It's been purchased by the guy who does the Boardwalk Cafe or the Basil Cafe and the Beach Boardwalk sandwich place. And because of the COVID rules, he wants to remove the exterior walls from this little garage addition and have it just a covered outdoor dining space, because outdoor dining space, you don't have to go at 50%. You can go to your full occupant load as long as you keep 6 feet apart. I did a little research here. It's considered not contributing. And there was a lot of work done on it that was approved by the historic district over several years. I did put a summary there, but that's kind of the gist of what he wants to do, is to remove the exterior walls so he can have outdoor seating.
Okay. And we have sort of some very loose drawings from the applicant to show what he wants to do, but basically taking all 3 walls down and opening it up. Do we know what the condition is of the floor or the walls that are on the structure once that happens, or what he plans to do with that?
It was a former garage, so it's slab on grade. And it's a concrete floor, and he just wants to put some tables and chairs there and continue the doorway to connect the rest of the building onto the new patio.
Right, but we don't have any details around what the condition of that inside wall is. So is there still siding inside there? Is it, I think there's Does it match what's on the front? Do we know any of that? We don't, do we?
Are those windows?
There
Yeah.
are windows and there are French doors that replace the garage door.
But there's interior windows right now between the office space and the seasonal room,
Um,
showing windows.
no, yes, there are windows.
He's taking down all 3 walls?
Yes.
I don't know if on this drawing, it's the top wall in the rear, side wall to the left, and keep the doors on the street frontage to enter and exit.
Well, we don't have enough information here, I don't think.
I
Are there
agree.
columns? There's no columns holding it up? What's in each corner?
There will be columns holding up the roof.
What do they look
But,
like?
I believe they're already there. He's been in talk with the building inspector already. So
Yeah,
I'd just like to say, I think we need some kind of a rendering. I can't tell I have no idea what this is gonna look like. I don't think there's enough information and he's not present for the hearing. I don't think there's enough information.
yeah, I agree, Cindy. I would encourage, if you can get back in contact with him, the idea of what he wants to do, especially since it was a garage structure before. I don't think there's a barrier to conversation on that. We would just need more detail on the street facade, the elevations, the materials, what the interior condition looks like. We just need more detail and drawings in order to really talk about it.
And more detail on those windows and if the siding on that side is gonna match the front when it's all done. In my opinion.
got it. Is there a motion to table or?
Yeah, do I have a motion to table the application?
Do we want to table it or deny it? What if it doesn't come up again, then it's just approved by default, right?
Well, it should come up at the next meeting if you table it, and that will be well within your 60 days. And if there's not enough information at that one, then you can deny it.
Personally, I would rather table it if we can hold ourselves accountable as unfinished business to bring it up the next time and deny it. I think that gives the applicant, that puts the burden on the applicant to come back one more time with more detail versus kind of the optics of denying it.
Mhm.
Okay. I think Cindy, I just would, if you're gonna communicate with them, we need we need drawings to see what it's gonna look like afterward, just to show the existing building and show a print, a schematic with a layout. I have no idea what that's going to look like. I'm trying to imagine it, but I don't think we need to imagine. We can't just guess what it's gonna look like.
Agree.
What are the finishes? Is it a garage with, an unfinished garage inside and I don't know what it's gonna look like. I think he needs to bring photos in what it looks like inside, and renderings of what it's going to look like when it's finished.
I will do my best to communicate with him. He's not English is not his first language,
I know, but
but I will do my best.
I don't think if you leave that front, like the front wall with the doors on, you're just gonna peel all the other walls off. I don't think that's gonna look,
Well,
I don't think I would have,
I think his
Like, you-
application is just inconsistent because I took it in one part of the application, I took it as he wants to take all 3 walls off and just leave it as pillars in an open space. But in another part, it seems like on the drawing, it seems like he wants to leave the doors there. So I think he's probably thinking that it's a demo job more than it is a building job, but he just doesn't understand kind of what's needed for this kind of an application. So I have empathy for maybe English is not his first language. So I'm happy to do a little extra conversation to help you, Cindy, if you need it. If you could take a first run at it, that'd be great.
I will do that, and I will see if he will let me in and maybe take some photos on his behalf. And I think what it will look like if he takes all 3 walls out, it will look like a carport. But I don't know what that interior wall looks like.
Or like a pavilion, like the pavilion out at Mount Baldy, like it just has columns in each corner.
Hmm.
It's like a picnic pavilion.
Yep.
So should we, when we table something and we're looking for additional information, and also based on comments I heard about, you know, not his first language, should we be specific of what we're looking for?
In the motion, I think you're right, Keith.
Okay,
Yeah, I think we should put that in the motion.
all right. Would you
How
like
about
to take a shot at it?
Sure, if you'd like to. Thank you.
I move that we table this application for the renovation on 118 Hoffman Street. We need additional information, including the street view from, well, there's 2 different sides, right? The street view is the front. Also the side interior treatments of the walls that will be exposed, including window treatments and siding treatments, as well as any other supporting structures for the modification. How's that?
I would also add a ceiling condition to that list.
Okay.
That's great. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all in favor signify by saying yes. Canarsa,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes,
Noza,
Yes,
and Straker, yes. Motion carries. Thank you all. We'll talk about it next month. Okay. Let's move on to the second application, which is 248-296 Hoffman. And look, Sarah, do we still have you?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Sarah. So
course.
I didn't say this before the first application, but if this is your first time with us at the commission, what we do is we'll typically do an overview of the application.
Mhm.
And then I'll go around the virtual room and ask for any clarifying questions from each of the commissioners.
Sure.
So you might hear a lot of questions or comments or disagreements or love for, but all of that gets rolled into a vote at the end. So,
Okay.
And we'll have opportunity for dialogue along the way.
Very good.
So basically you are looking to add a different sign, correct?
Yes, included in your packet is a picture of our current sign that we affectionately refer to as the tombstone. There we go. Yeah, and so this particular structure right here has seen some better days. It's in need of repair. And so we have approached Sunray Sign, a company out of Holland, to design us a sign that could function for us, for a church sign, of course, but then allow us some movable text space at the bottom. And so they put together this rendering at the top here that is meant to reflect the structure around the doors, the historic front doors of the church. They match the kind of A-frame at the top. So this is the sign that we would like to install here this spring.
What are the materials?
I do believe this is kind of a combination of wood and metal. Most of the material, that face that you would see, that is a wooden structure, but the frame of it is metal. We wanted this to look like natural materials since the church is primarily brick and wood, which seems pretty earthy. So
does the sign already exist or does it have to be built, Sarah?
it has to be built. This new one would need to be built. We would take out the tombstone sign and that brick foundation right underneath it, And this would be a post sign lifted up off the ground so that we could do some landscaping around the posts.
How tall is it? Or what are the dimensions?
This is a 4x7 sign, which I do believe is within the max square foot. And we are planning on doing some lighting with this, but not with it. Definitely be exterior lit. We're hoping to put a bulb in the top of the frame to light it down so that we don't contribute to light pollution.
Some of you might want to tell Tim that he's muted.
Sorry. Jeez. It's not my first rodeo. Any other questions, Dan or Jennifer?
Mm.
No.
Keith, any other questions?
No questions?
John?
I'd like to know more about the sign that's there now, how old it is.
I don't have exact records on that. We think that this was probably part of the 1940s-ish, kind of rebuilding of the towered area, the bell tower of the church. We think it was probably installed about then, but we don't have an exact date.
Cindy or Aaron, can you flip to the other page in the packet that shows
Are
the,
you just cut out a little bit. The first page, did you say?
no, sorry, the other, the history page in the packet? There you go. I would offer that that you're right, that this is probably a part of the Carl Herman renovation
Yeah.
dating back to 38. It looks like the structure was refaced about then in the same brick that's on the sign. It looks like the materials all match. I personally would have a lot of heartache removing that sign, knowing that Carl Herman had a hand in placing it there as part of the structure. I'm sympathetic to what you're trying to do from a signage standpoint and communication standpoint for the congregation. Did you guys explore other ways of signage or places for signage in addition to that one that would preserve this historical moment, but still address kind of what you're trying to accomplish from a communication standpoint?
Well, we have a small sign that's located on the side of the building listing service times and staff information, contact information, which is going to need to be updated here pretty soon too. But that one's a pretty practical, kind of efficient sign. But our hope is to have a communication device more out towards the intersection, since that is quite a visible, and we get a lot of foot traffic by the church out that way. Right now, it's not a usable ministry device, I would suppose we would say, and it really is in pretty dire straits. It's coming apart at the seams, and we're not quite sure that we could really preserve it all that much longer.
Aaron, can you flip back to the sign now? Thank you. In part of your exploration with the signage company, did you explore what could be done, what I'll call within the frame? So the white space, is there a way to update what's inside the structure itself while preserving the structure?
The white space of the sign is actually the portion of the sign that's in the best condition. It's the frame around it, especially towards where the brick and concrete meet the wood, where there is significant damage. The one solution we've explored is putting in some hooks on the inside of the frame and using grommeted vinyl signs to inlay a sign there that we could change in and out if we needed to, but that's not ideal, but that would kind of cover
Mhm.
that.
I'm sure you know, Carl Herman's a uh, pretty important figure here in town in terms of architectural significance. So I guess last thing I'll say on that is I would have a really hard time taking this structure out, knowing its attachment to the building and its narrative as part of a Herman narrative. I would be open to kind of moving along with the times and acknowledging that something is needed in terms of how the sign performs
Mhm.
today, but I would not be in favor of removing it. But I'm not opposed to evolution, but revolution with a new sign, I'm opposed to. Does anyone else have additional comments or questions?
I share your sentiment.
I do too, and I think if we go around town, this would stand out as one of the most historic pieces that you see. It just screams of history.
Well, one other bit of context there. I know this might be a strange analogy, given that the church is the application kind of structure here. But to John's point, I would look at this as contributing in terms of history as the Saugatuck sign is at the corner of Lake and Blue Star, and in very different ways, obviously, but each sort of tell a story and have a memory that are important to the history. So I would echo its significance. Does anybody else have anything to add? Otherwise, I'll call for a motion.
I mean, just curious, has there been a lot of effort put into renovating the current sign?
We've maintained it certainly over the years, but for a long time, the church has been talking about needing a new sign, something that would work and function for us from a ministry standpoint out there. So keeping it up and uplifting this as a significant part of the church has not exactly been at the forefront of our minds.
Mhm.
We have thought about removing it and repurposing it as a sign inside the building, as possibly making it into a historic case for displaying documents of the church or something. We have talked about that and a way to keep the sign, but really it is non-functional. We really refer to it as the tombstone, and we would love to be able to have something that serves the church and not the church serve it moving forward. We understand the significance of it. I mean, we're the first church in town, and this is an 80-year-old sign. We certainly understand that, and we are sensitive to that. We feel the need to have something that is functional for us.
I would love for you guys to give it a little more thought and figure out. So you're proposing a new sign.
Mm-hmm.
One suggestion I had was repurposing the inside. I don't know if that's doable or not. Maybe another sort of a third solution is there a compatible idea that doesn't compete with it? It's not right next to it, but sits somewhere else away from it that still does what you need it to do? Or is there a way to complement and celebrate its history while still having, I don't know what all those ideas are, but maybe one idea would be to have your sign company sort of relay, depending on what happens with this vote, relay what the commission thinks and what you're trying to accomplish, and see if they can help you come back with maybe a different solution if this doesn't pass. Does anybody else have comments or questions? Okay, does anyone have a motion? I'll make a motion to, what's our address again?
It has actually two addresses, 248 and 269,
296.
296.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 248, 296 Hoffman Street as submitted.
Approve? You wanted to approve
Yeah.
it? You just said you wanted to, you're not in favor of it.
All right. Well, no, I'll make a motion to approve 248, 296 Hoffman Street as submitted.
You want him to take the sign down? You just,
Or
No,
you
that's
want
my-
us to say yes or no to that?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, I don't know why the motion was written the way it was as a possible motion, but I understand your confusion there, Jen.
We can do it either way. I mean,
why don't
Some-
you move for what you want, what you're
somebody-
asking for?
somebody can second that motion, or somebody can create a new motion.
Keith Patterson
Can you-
seconds.
Can you go back to the first page of the application?
I think whether the motion is in the affirmative or the negative, we still vote yes or no. It doesn't matter.
Patterson seconds.
Any other discussion?
I think it should be a motion. If you want a motion to deny, just make a motion to deny.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's what I'm not sure why you're saying you want to approve it. So we all say no, and then we take a second, make a second motion.
I mean, either way, I can redo the motion to deny the address and somebody can second that, and then we'll all say yes. I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other,
Mhm. Right.
but
Okay. All
we can redo it. It's okay.
Okay.
I don't want to predispose what anyone
Yeah.
voted on it either. So let me redo it. I'd
Sorry.
like to make a motion to deny 248, 296 Hoffman Street. Is there a second?
Patterson seconds.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes. I'll do a roll call. Jennifer,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Penozo,
Yes.
Canarsa?
Yes.
Straker's a yes. Okay, the motion carries as denied. Sarah, happy to chat with you further on a solution that works for what you're trying to do, but one that protects the integrity of that structure.
Okay, we'll put our thinking caps on.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will move to any administrative approvals or updates.
Couple of signs at 129 Griffith for the new restaurant that is going in there called, and help me if I need it, Aaron, Taverna Rosa. It's an Italian restaurant, and they are projecting signs. Tim and I looked at it and asked for simplified brackets, but other than that, it was an administrative approval.
Thank you. Nothing else since then, Cindy?
No,
Any communication?
none.
Okay. Any more public comment? Any commission comment? We are a quiet group today.
Mhm.
Okay, then do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn Davenport.
Do you have a second?
Second, Canarsa.
All right, all in favor signify by saying yes. Canarsa,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Nozo,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Breaker is a yes. Motion carries. Thank you all. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Tim.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.